This week, you may know I've been writing about and tweeting and doing videos about something called the New Economy Organisers Network, NEON for short. Its website reads, "We help social justice movements win." It's really well funded by people like Soros, Quaker Foundations, Rockefeller, and it has produced people like Zoe Gardner, Grace Blakely, Miata Fanbula, she's a Labour MP, Dr. Jivan Sander, he's a Labour MP, Faiza Shaheen, she's a Corbynista, she now works for Tax Justice UK. And what I've found is that they give out scripts of what lefties can say on air, right? It's a school that churns out these lefty activists. They basically go on the airwaves, or they go into think tanks, or they become Labour MPs. It's about disseminating them through our institutions and onto the airwaves to normalise quite extreme ideas, like the wealth tax, that very rich people actually want. And what's that all about? I don't even know. I don't know why there's a really rich lobby for a wealth tax, but there is. Anyway, I'm going to show you another script that NEON produced, The Future of the Monarchy. They have loads of these. As a researcher, it's absolute gold dust to find these. I have no idea why they're public, because it's just, it's just funny. It's not even funny, because there is a serious point, but it's just the dream thing to stumble upon. It just proves how these activists churn out things. Now they're going to say, no, these are just suggestions, like we all have thoughts of our own and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, sure, they can have their own organic views too. But it's just not a good look, is it, that left-wing school is printing out literal scripts. So like The Future of the Monarchy, it's written in 2023. And it's following the Queen's death. And it basically is sympathetic, right? The point of this document is to get you to argue for a republic, but to add notes to make you look kind of sympathetic to the fact the Queen died. So they encourage you to acknowledge that the Queen was loved by engaging with the feelings of her family and the country. And they give you an example message. So each of these documents have example messages. That's what you can say. The Queen was a steadfast public servant and will be greatly missed by many, not least by the family she leaves behind. And all of these scripts have words that work and don't work to frame your message. So they tell you, do say the unelected monarchy, don't say king, royal family. Then you should say, I'm a Republican, I want a republic, but don't say, I'm a Democrat, I want democracy. And the rationale for that is democracy is a value that most people hold dear. Then they've got attack lines. So that's when you go on to the airwaves and someone like Andrew Neil or Emma Barnett or Laura Kuenssberg is saying to you, but no, we love the Queen or whatever. They're saying something like, your views are unpopular. And they've got lines you can say in response. And then, all you lefties hate the Queen. You must be pleased by the news that she's dead. You can disagree with the idea of the monarchy and still feel for her family and those in mourning. Our sympathies go out to her family during what is an incredibly difficult time. So you can imagine that, they're a bit chunky, the scripts, but you'd get used to them and you practice them and then you get really well versed. Like I say, these lefty activists can say, look, these were just suggestions. We didn't actually use them and we've got minds of our own, yeah. But can you imagine if a left-wing journalist, if one of them, the types that scream Tufton Street and have for years accused writers like me, kind of on the right, of being part of coordinated dark Tufton Street networks. Can you imagine if they found the equivalent of what I found about them? And no equivalent exists, let me tell you. There is no equivalent. We do not go to right-wing training school. So this absolutely stinks. Anyway, I'll put a link so that you can check it out.